now I'm going to say a few things about the environmental sustainability, then the socio-ethical, and then the economic sustainability. Okay, just a key point. Okay, so it is not like it is now that we speak about environmental limits. Before the 60s of the other century, you know, the boom, the economic boom, when there was an acceleration of the production and consumption system. Before that, we didn't realize that there were any problem about the nature. So we were using resources, having waste of different type, emission and whatever, and we thought that there were no problem. But this was so. We didn't talk about that. There was no limit. Then we discovered, now you laugh, but that was the reality there, okay? Then we discovered that this was not the situation. It was a time in which we had the first, there were some big pollution in the large lake of the north part of the US in the States. Big pollution over the fish kill and whatever. In London, at the end of the 50s, 4,000 people died for what is called now smog. You know smog, where it comes from? Yes, smoke and fog. Smoke and fog, because it was foggy there, but they didn't get that fog was quite smoky. And that was a period in which the oil tanker were just cleaning their tank in the middle of the sea without caring about nothing, because they thought that all the oceans are huge, whatever happened, then we know that something happened. You know? Now this is clear for us, but at that time it started to be clear. Nevertheless, just to give you one, I'm not making that much history of this, but just one very important book was this from Mayer, Randers and Behrens. It was called, in fact, Limit of the Growth, in which they were from the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, US. They made the first simulation, computerized simulation of what may happen if we go on by using the resources and emitting in the way we are doing right now, what will happen. And there was the first forecast of a possible collapse of the system, of the geosphere and the biosphere, the nature in which we are living. And what are the main environmental impact? Are global warming, ozone layer depletion, acidification, eutrophisation, toxicity, waste, and some other. For example, when we are working with the students or on design for sustainability on a product level, there are some tools, I will tell you something in a while, there are some tools that assess for each product, for this product for example, what is the global warming potential of producing, using the material, producing the product, transporting, disposing, and all the other. This impact actually are evaluated in relation to a single product, even though they are global. So we have nowadays mechanism and method and tools to do that. Nevertheless, these are the irreversible and damaging effect I was speaking about. Here I want to show you, this is a video made by NASA about global warming. It shows how since the 1880 till today, how the temperature has grown. Now we are in 1894, 1920, 1940, 50, 70, 90. We are getting closer and warmer and warmer. So you get an idea that actually something is really happening. It's not just an invention of some crazy environmentalist. It's really happening. Maybe Trump doesn't think that so much. Said that this is what happened so far. There are even some forecasts of what is going to happen in the near future. And about climate change, there was this intergovernmental panel on climate change. It is actually the biggest group of researchers worldwide ever established together. to work on a specific topic, and that is climate change. And here is how. What about the future climate in 2100? And speaking about the temperature increase, knowing that if we increase by 1 degree, that will be very scary. Could be very difficult, the situation. This is the forecast if we don't do anything in terms of reducing CO2 emission or other global warming gases. The increase will be between 4 to 7 degrees. So it's really a lot. But even though we do the best or something, now we are in a situation in which anyhow there will be an increase, or we change now immediately something, or really the earth won't be what it is now. It will be really, you are facing nowadays, and maybe you realize that there are some climate situations that are not really like they were before, that really something is changing. Now just to tell you, I show you one picture. This is, when there is the global warming, global warming, there are some, the problem, there are some, the sun rays that come to the earth, they reflect, and then actually they are dispersed. But there are some gases, the global warming gases like CO2 and other, that keeps and reflect back this heat to the earth. Basically, this is called greenhouse effect, and it is the reason why we are on this earth. So it's the bad. Without this, we won't be here, because it put like a nice cover, to be a little bit warm here. If not, the light wouldn't be here. The point is that we are putting too much of those, so that the temperature there, it's increasing more. But if there is more temperature, there is more pressure, there is more power, and this is causing several problems. Like, for example, it's melting the sea ices. Here is the sea ices at the North Pole in 1980, and look how it is a few years later, not that much. This is the Earth. You see how much? It's not an ice cream. It's a big ice cream. But this makes, yes please.
I don't really know a lot about climate change, but what do you say about the theory that everyone is saying in terms of the world is changing every, 1,000 years, that there is a climate change? Because if you think about that, this used to be, or Germany used to be under ice.
No, this is happening, and this happened. And when climate change happened, the glacial era, when they happen in very rapidly, 10 to 15 years. So it's not, so there is a moment in which some condition change so fast. The cycle of water, for example, is changed. It may come to change so fast that one action put the other action to go very fast. And so in a while, the temperature will be really very different. So this may happen right now, but this is, at this point, it's not that this is something that is due to other external variable. It's our production and consumption system is emitting these global warming gases, so it is us putting those up to the atmosphere. So we are determining this. And we are close to the collapse of the system, so very close to the situation in which this will go faster and faster. It's not anymore an issue of, maybe the son of my son of my son. Now we are facing something right now.
Yes, and even like that, it's important. Like, even it's not, for me, the thing is not, it's important how fast it comes, but if it's not tomorrow and it's going to be in 100 years, like, we should have taken care anyway. Like,
yes.
It's not like, if it's coming in 100 years, it's fine.
No, I'm not saying this.
No, I know that you are not saying that, but no. I am like...
Yes, but what I wanted to highlight this is not that, when it's in 100 years, and maybe you have more time to think, to organize yourself. Now we realize that it's a matter of few years. It's not anymore a matter of hundreds or decades. It's a matter of few years. For example, if we don't do anything, there will be in 2100, 1 meter water more. You can say, oh, it's nice, I can go to swim where I couldn't do that before or something, but this could be, some people could be unhappy. Venice won't be here anymore, and other places. The Netherlands, there is anyone from the Netherlands here? No one? No, the Netherlands, because they are Netherlands. They are below the level of the sea, so they have already a system a barrier to defend quite a large part of their territory from being flooded. They won't have the energy anymore to resist up to this. But that is not only, okay, if this is changing, it would change all the equilibrium of the system. All the cycle of the monsoon and all the temperature that we have here is determined by the quantity of water that is here and there, and so places will be very cold and others will be very hot and very dry, and then this will provoke even the migration of pathogen microbe or whatever, so that malaria would move from one place to the other where people are not used, and vice versa, and so on. So it's really it is really very, very scary, very, very scary, trust me. And then there is the problem of ozone layer depletion. Here I put an image, just to let you speak a little bit. There is the cause, and here is the effect. There is a woman that is opening the fridge during the night because she's starving and is a bit nervous. She has an exam the day after, so she has to eat something. And here there is someone else that, to take the sun, he had to put kind of a 3 centimeter of sun protection, sun protective cream, or how you say,
Some
paste or over the skin to be to protect the skin, in fact. So what could be the cause effect here? What is happening? What's in the fridge? I tell you, into the refrigerator, there are the CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. There are some gases. Now they are phased out in most of the country. But they are used even to foam some polymers, okay, that are into the isolating system. And these gas, they break the ozone. The ozone is O3 as a molecule, and it cuts the ozone. It makes like molecular oxygen, so O2. Well, I made it too easy for some colleague from the chemistry department. Nevertheless, that is what is happening, but when it's oxygen, it doesn't protect us from the ultraviolet ray coming from the sun. And this is very dangerous for a human being, but even for the forest and for other things. Actually,